welcome to Tune of the Month. I'm Mari Black and happy October. All right, so this month we're on a little bit of a cool project. If you've been following Tune of the Month, you might remember that last month, September, I taught my original reel, Acadia Dawn, which I wrote for the inaugural class of the rebirthed Acadia Trad Festival up in Bar Harbor, Maine, where I'm the music director and all sorts of wonderful musical shenanigans go down every June. So Acadia Dawn has become kind of a mascot tune for the camp, and I wrote a harmony part for it that's really, really fun to play. And so I thought, since last month we learned the melody, this month I'll show you the harmony, which means I need to play with one of me. Let's do it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is so much fun to play, as you can tell, and even more fun to play with people who are not yourself. So I highly recommend it. Let's learn this harmony, and then you'll be ready to play it with whoever you like, up to and including yourself. All right, so here's what's going to happen in terms of the roadmap of how the harmony is structured. You'll remember that this tune, Acadia Dawn, the idea is that it's depicting a sunrise, where the whole tune goes up, 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 up. It's reflected in the melody, and it's really reflected in the harmony, because the harmony isn't the same part all the way through. You probably heard it. It actually stacks different stations of the chord as we go through, and makes the whole tune push up, 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 up into the sky. So you probably heard that the first A section, I actually start out playing unison with the melody. And if you don't know that melody yet, just go back to last month's video. You can learn it right there. And then in the first B section, there's going to be a low harmony, a harmony that's stationed below where the melody is. So we're actually going to start there. All right. So when I'm doing harmonies, I'm always thinking about what is the interval relationship to the melody. If here's my melody, am I a third above or a sixth above, a third below or a sixth below? Right? You see how I'm kind of picturing where's the relationship on the staff. So this harmony, it's a tight harmony, a third below the melody. All right. So if you remember your melody, it starts out here. Right? It's based on this kind of root position of the D major arpeggio. I have to think chords. It's a D major tune. This part 1 is a D major arpeggio. So if the melody's here, to find my harmony, I'm just going to jump down one station in the arpeggio. Do you hear my A that was on the top has now moved down to the bottom? This is the fifth, the root, and the third. Good. So I'm going to play the whole B section low harmony so you can hear how it sounds, and notice just that it's based on that arpeggio station. See how much you can pick up with me by ear here. Ready? 2 pickups. 1, 2, 3. Part 2, E minor. Back to part 1. Here's the ending. And that moves us back down for the A section. Cool. So hopefully you picked up some of that already. It's very tuneful and very easy, especially if you already know the melody. I find it's way easier to harmonize tunes that I know the melody for. So if you're a little shaky on the melody, again, last month's video, waiting for you, and it will make this even easier. But you don't really need it. You can just learn this as its own tune. Okay, so let's break those parts down. Obviously, you could just play with me over and over, that nice, slow, clear way through and just learn it by ear right there. That's the goal. But we can break it down a little bit just to show you the nuance, the details. All right, so I have 2 pickups going into this part 1. That's a D major chord. The pickups go up the scale, beginning on the root of the arpeggio because the melody begins on the 3rd. Root. Long, slur, good. So you can hear it's mostly that D major arpeggio with the A on the bottom. The 5th here, then the root, then the 3rd. Let's do it again. 2 pickups. 1, 2, 3, and a long slur. And that's shadowing exactly how the melody plays, only where the melody has the root of the arpeggio, we have the lower 5th. Where they have the 3rd, we have the root, etc. One more time. 2, 3, pickups. Good. If you need a couple more reps, just rewind the video. I'll practice with you as much as you like, but we're going to go pretty quickly here because I'm assuming you already know the melody. And if you're playing harmonies, you're really thinking about chords and arpeggios, which makes it a lot easier. All right, so we just landed here. That's the beginning of part 2, which is in the melody an E minor arpeggio. And you hear those little pickups at the end are connecting back into part 1. Good, let's do it again. E minor, we start on the root, E, little neighbor tone. Good, do it again. And note, I'm assuming you're understanding the bowings where they're mirroring what the melody did. When we have the quarter note, it's long, and the next 2 8 notes are slur, right? Good. If you want more repetitions on that part 2, just back it up. And we're back to part 1 there. Just like before, D major. Yep, no changes there. And here's our ending. That turns around to get back for the repeat. Yeah, so you notice it starts just like part 2, E minor. Now down the scale, step down. Good, try it again. Step down. One more time, ending. Long, slur, down the scale, step down. There you go, and that's the whole B section. All right? with that ending is the turnaround back to the B. You may remember from your melody study that this tune has slightly different endings, whether they're hooking back for the B or going on to the A. So let's do this. Let's put together the whole B section 2 times, part 1, part 2, part 1, ending with the loop back. Part 1, part 2, part 1 again, and then we'll check out the ending that's going to transition, get us back down for the A section harmony. Ready? Part 1, 2 pickups, D major chord, 2, 3, and a long slur. Part 2, E minor. Back to part 1. Down for the A section. This is all the same ending. Now here, rather than doing the step downs, we're just gonna there's a little D major skip, D major. Now, down the scale starting on the third of the A major chord, the 5 chord, which is the C sharp. C sharp. And that's how we harmonize the 5 chord, the A major arpeggio that's happening in the melody. Let's do that last ending with the turn back to the A. E minor. Here it is. Skip down, now, down. Let's scale back to. One more time. There you go. So that's the whole first B section, the lower harmony. All right. Now, things like that slightly different ending. This is where I love doing harmonies. I think those of you who've hung out at 2 of the month know about this, or hung out with me in real life, you really know about this. I love playing harmonies. And I kind of pride myself on coming up with harmonies that are not just the straightforward chords that you would expect, being really melded to the melody and very intricate and complex. It means as a harmony player, you have to learn a lot more notes because your sections don't just repeat the same way a melody player might, but it gives it so much more sophistication. So knowing the difference between the step down ending and the scalular ending, it's just connecting much more smoothly the parts between the B section and the A section, right? So I recommend it highly. It takes extra finesse to come up with. It takes a little extra brain power to learn. So worth it. All right, so any part of that low harmony that you'd like to practice again, just rewind the video. I'll practice with you as many times as you like. All right, but we have just come and we're ready for the harmony to the A section. All right, I'll play the whole thing. This harmony is stationed above the melody. It's a third above. So if you kind of think about your melody part from last month, it will help you, or you can just kind of hear this as its own thing. Some of it will be very tuneful. Some of it sounds a little weird by itself, and that's okay. You just learn those spots. It will make more sense when you're playing with the melody. Ready? 2, 3, starts on the root. No pickups. ending. Yeah, so you can hear that it's very closely connected to the melody in terms of the patterns, where it goes up and down, where it's moving by scale versus by skip. All right, so we're going to learn it the same way. It follows the structure, part 1, part 2, part 1 prime, little variation, and the end. All right, so starts with, we're going to go ahead and build that cut right in there. We did it in the melody last month, and I like it. I play it every time, so let's just do it. Cut your bow, land. That's first part. Pretty easy. D major arpeggio and up the scale. Now we have an advantage because the melody is not in root position. They're in the lower part of the arpeggio. So we get root position as harmony players. Yay! Ready? 2, 3, and up the scale, land. Pretty easy. Do it again. Good. Part 2, we're going to have 2 pickups. Okay, so part 2 starts with, you'll remember this from the melody, it starts with a restatement of the last part of part 1, that up the scale. And there's the first peak of the sun over the horizon. You remember that from the melody? Here's our restatement. First peak. Let's do that again, up the scale. One more time, part 2. Good, and we're back to part 1 there. Cut. Up the scale. So that's the little variation, the part 1 prime, right? This is like the beginning. Up the scale. Now top it off with the arpeggio. Do it again. Part 1 prime. Good, and there's the start of our ending. So that's a part that sounds a little strange by itself, right? Because the melody is doing that pentatonic thing, remember that? So this harmony doesn't make sense by itself. That's okay. You just learn the patterns. Let's do it again. So this is also a pentatonic, right? It makes sense. Pentatonic would harmonize pentatonic. This is like a scale, but I don't play any open strings, right? Skip the open string, up the scale, skip the open string. And then here's an A7, A dominant 7th arpeggio. But in inversion, right? The melody has the root position. Good, do it one more time, ending the pentatonic. One more. Good, we have the whole A section. It's actually pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, so let's put the whole A section together. We're gonna do just like we did with the low harmony, the B. We'll play part 1, part 2, part 1 again, ending. That's the turnaround back to the A. And then we'll do the repeat, part 1, part 2, part 1 again. And the next ending, is going to go on to the B section. Now the new B section is going to be harmonized from above. So we have to do a very fast ascent. You'll hear it when we get to it. Ready? Part 1, 2, 3. Part 2. Back down for part 1 prime. Ending. Repeat, part 1. Here's the ending. Sorry, I hesitated there, but woo! And yes, we're going up to third position because the B section high harmony is above the melody, which already tops out the range of first position. So you need third position for your B harmony. Good. Before we get there, let's just check that transition one more time. I have my pentatonic like before. Up the scale. Shift here. And there's a skip. Landing there. And that's that slick transition that gets you right to the B. Very cool, right? Let's do that last ending, transitioning to the B. Pentatonic. Skip down. Up the scale. Ta-da! Okay, so getting to that third position, we've done a lot of third position stuff in past Tune of the Month videos, and I bet you've done some out in the rest of your fiddling life. So drawing those skills right now for your high B section harmony. It is all in third position. It's much easier if you just stay in third position the whole time. You don't have to be shifting. And the only shift needed to get to third is right there in that scale. You shift off your second finger onto your first finger where your third finger would normally play. And make sure that test note, we worked on these in past Tune of the Months, that when I move to third position, my first finger A should match my open string A. And that's how I know I'm in the right place. Got it? Cool. And if you've never done third position before, that's a drive-by like real fast. And if it doesn't make much sense, don't worry. Just go check out some other Tunes of the Month where we worked on learning third position through the tune, and you can get comfortable there. This is the same shift, the same position as all those other things. Okay, so here we go. The crowning jewel of the whole tune, as far as I'm concerned, the high B harmony. It sounds so fancy because you're up there in third position. It's actually really easy and comfortable to play if you're comfortable in third position. I'm going to play the whole thing. It's using the same ideas as we did for the low B harmony, only instead of melodies here, root position, low harmony was here. Back to the melody. So the high harmony needs, right? So I have my third finger on the A string, and then up here. That's what the whole thing's based on. Here we go. We just finished part 1. Back to part 1. Part 1, D major. Part 2, back to part 1. Here's the ending. Nice. So you might notice that having learned the melody, hopefully from last month, and the low harmony, the high harmony feels very familiar because again, it's all the same melodic patterns. Where the melody does arpeggio, the harmony does arpeggio. Where the melody does step downs, the harmony does step down. So it's the same shape, right? If we were to play connect the dots with the notes on the staff and trace the shape of the melody, we just take that shape and drag it up to the next station in the arpeggio, right? And repeat the same shape, but higher up in the chord. Does that make sense? For the B's, for the lower B harmony, we just dragged it to a lower station in the chord. And you can use this way of thinking to harmonize basically any tune, right? So you can kind of figure it out that way. That'd be fun. Just play the video back where I just played through the whole thing and see if you can sound it out, feel it out, or we can just learn it as its own thing right here. So I like going from the previous pickup. So let's do that, the scale. Shift to third. Long. Slur. Now, the key to success here, I have no open strings because I'm up in third position. And when I have the arpeggio that crosses the string, I am leaving my third finger down on the A string and my first finger down on the E string. And that makes it very easy to measure where my fourth finger needs to go. It's a half step from the third finger across the string. We have worked on this in past tunes of the month. I call it glue finger, leaving fingers down. It's the key to success anytime you're playing arpeggios. And it's really important here in this particular harmony, because if you pick your fingers up, you're gonna have to find them again very quickly, and they ain't gonna be fun. So let's try it. We'll go right from the downbeat here. It starts on the fourth finger, the high D. Long, slur. And you can leave your third finger down on the A string the entire time. Try it again. From the high D, pick up, downbeat. 3, 4, long, slur. Let's do it again. 2, 3, and... Good. I hope you're leaving that third finger glued down. If you need more repetitions, rewind the video. Here's part 2. We've just landed here for E minor. Did you get that sounded out? So the E minor arpeggio here, it's evens team. Twos and fours. Neighbor tone E minor. Up the scale back to D for part 1. Good, do it again. Part 2, E minor. Good, and we're back at part 1. You already know it. D major. Glue your third finger. So easy, good, and we've just landed on the ending. Starts just like part 2. Step downs. Okay, so the key moment there where it changes from being like part 2 to being the actual ending, right here. Your fourth finger has to hop across the string. Fourth finger on the A string, fourth finger on the E string. So we're used to hop acrosses in first position on other fingers. Usually in first position, fourth finger doesn't get to do the hop across. Here it does. Hop across, step down. Good, do it again. And then to repeat, just back up the scale to go back to part one. Got it? Let's do the ending one more time. Whole section, part one. Part two. Back to part one. Ending. Step down, step down. Repeat it. Back to part one. Here's the ending. Last time. And there you go. That's the entire harmony part. Well done. So yeah, it's a little more to wade through than just playing a simple harmony that would be the same each time, like the melody, but this gets a much cooler arrangement. Now, here's the cool thing. Those B sections, the two different harmonies that you just bothered to learn for the B section, you don't have to play them in the same way that I do, the same roadmap, right? With the unison melody, low B harmony, harmony A, high B harmony. You don't have to do that. It's kind of cool. It's what I intended as the composer, but we all know composers are just suggestions in folk music. If you don't want to play that high harmony, no problem. Play the low B harmony both times. In fact, if you've got three fiddlers, you can stack three parts. The low B harmony and the high B harmony work together. And when you get all three going, triple fiddles, oh, so amazing. So it's really good to know both harmonies so you can switch, or you can just play the low one. No problem at all, right? Now, notice in this video, I didn't say a whole lot about bowing other than the functional bowing of long slur or when we have the quarter notes. And that's because you really, when you're playing twin fiddle, it's very cool when the melody and the harmony player are coordinated. When I played with myself, there were places where me and me were bowing identically, and it was really cool, right? There were also a couple places where me and me did different bowings, right? We worked in the melody last month about a couple of different bowing choices that you can do, right? Long slur can sometimes become that tuggy 3+1, 1, 2, 3, and smoothie, smoothie. So if you're playing this harmony part with a melody player and you're polishing it for a show, it's very cool to make those bowing decisions together and to choreograph so that you're always matching the bowing. Same thing with last month, we talked about how to put in those extra little triplets and little cuts. You can do that in the harmony too. If the melody player does it, it's very cool if you mirror it. For example, in the B section, I'll take the high harmony. Sound familiar? Cut. Slur triplet. Remember those from last month? I'm just throwing ideas at the end here. So if you're going, wait a minute, what? But I just barely learned the harmony. Don't worry. Learn the basic harmony first. And then when you start playing it with the melody player, that's when you can start to coordinate, right? But this is the art of playing harmony. How tightly can you coordinate with your melody player so it's truly twin fiddling? And that's what I find really, really fun. So hopefully there's some ideas in here that will help you learn how to do that for any tune you like. And also you can know the harmony for Acadia Dawn. And then come join us at the Acadia Trad Festival in Bar Harbor, Maine, last week of June. Registration for 2024 is open now, and you can bet this tune will be played, and you will use every melody and every harmony part that you know to this, and of course, lots more wonderful tunes. Okay. Well, as always, if you want to see sheet music for this crazy harmony part, make sure you're subscribed to my email newsletter. Go to my website, www.mariblack.com, and sign up for the newsletter. Each month I send out a little hello, staying in touch with all of you fiddler folk. And the newsletter will include the sheet music for the current tune of the month in my own handwritten. It's nothing fancy. You're just as good learning it by ear, but if the dots help you, that's how you can get them. If you're already subscribed to the newsletter, you already have the Harmony for Acadia Dawn in your inbox. And if you're watching this in the future, be sure to subscribe for email newsletter sheet music tunes for all future tunes of the month. And as I've lost the ability to make coherent sentences, I'll send you off to explore more tunes and see you back here next month for more fiddling. Have fun, you guys!